Hey, it's your boy Rude Dog. Check this shit out, man. Yo, we got the Usher versus Diddy, Diddy versus Usher, the Diddler versus Mr. 7 o'clock on the dot. You know what I mean? We got him. Yo, here's what we about to do now. Let's get on off into this. This is an adult channel. Adult things do happen. Adult things do go on. You will hear me talking shit. You will hear me smoking. You will hear me saying things like, what the? But anyways, now let's go ahead and make it crack a late. We got Usher versus Diddy. Diddy versus Usher. Two of the freakiest niggas in, well, some would say two of the freakiest niggas in the game. Now, personally, me, I don't think Usher would testify. That's just me. I don't even think this shit's like that. Yo, we getting ready to investigate this shit and see if this shit is real. But other than that, though, I don't think Usher gonna testify. I don't think that shit gonna happen. But yo, let's get back and off into it though. I'm just here to talk my shit.
The tension surrounding the upcoming trial of music mogul Sean Diddy Combs has reached a fever pitch as new developments continue to emerge. With only 2 months remaining before the scheduled May trial, Diddy's legal team has made a desperate move to suppress evidence collected during the dramatic raids on his opulent mansions in Los Angeles and Miami. These raids, conducted by Homeland Security agents with guns drawn, have become a pivotal point in the case against the embattled music executive. The situation took an even more dramatic turn when reports surfaced that Usher, the legendary R&B artist and longtime acquaintance of Diddy, plans to testify against him in court. This revelation has sent shockwaves through the music industry and beyond, as the relationship between these two powerhouses spans over 3 decades. Their connection dates back to Usher's teenage years when his mother sent him to what was known as Puffy Flavor Camp, a mentorship program designed to help young artists break into the music industry. However, recent allegations suggest that this arrangement may have been far more complex and troubling than initially understood, as Diddy faces charges including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution. Usher's decision to testify could prove to be a game-changing moment in the proceedings. The timing of these developments couldn't be more critical, with mounting pressure from multiple fronts including the potential testimony of high-profile witnesses and the growing list of accusers. Diddy's defense strategy appears to be shifting dramatically. His lawyers' attempt to suppress evidence suggests they view the materials gathered during the
I agree
raids
with
as
that.
particularly damaging to their case. Meanwhile, the prospect of Usher taking the stand has created a media frenzy, with both sides preparing for what could become one of the most sensational trials in recent entertainment history. As the legal battle intensifies, questions about the nature of Diddy and Usher's relationship have taken center stage. Industry insiders are closely watching how this long-standing association might influence the outcome of the trial, while fans and observers alike wait with bated breath to see how these revelations will unfold in the courtroom. The roots of Diddy and Usher's complex relationship trace back to the early 1990s, when a young Usher, Raymond IV, arrived in New York's mother to participate in what was officially called Puffy Flavor Camp. The aspiring singer found himself immersed in an environment far different from what he had anticipated. Rather than a structured music education program, Usher discovered himself.
Now, could you see yourself going to a Puffy Flavor camp? Go think about go send your child 6 weeks or 6 months to stay with Puffy to do Puffy shit. Think about that. You saw how this nigga turned out.
Surrounded by the excesses of the music industry elite. According to Usher's own accounts, Diddy's world was filled with constant parties, drugs, and sexual encounters, a lifestyle that left the impressionable teenager both fascinated and overwhelmed. During this formative year living with Diddy, Usher witnessed scenes that would shape his understanding of the music business and adult life. He recalls being exposed to an endless parade of women, drug-fueled gatherings, and late-night studio sessions that often blurred into early morning escapades. The presence of hip-hop legends like Biggie Smalls, Lil' Kim, and Craig Mack created an atmosphere where professional boundaries frequently dissolved into personal relationships. Faith.
Obviously, you can tell this video is AI. But other than that, yeah, dog, this motherfucker is in some shit. He's in some shit. Because basically, he just basically saying the same damn thing Usher went back and said on his other shit. That's all he sit back and saying. This whole damn video was done by AI, motherfucker. I can just tell by how the niggas talking. But man, these motherfuckers, they need to go to Usher and get the information and figure out what's going on. Because I bet you this nigga got more to say.
Evans and Mary J. Blige were regular fixtures in this world, though they remained largely unaware of the darker aspects unfolding around them. Usher's discomfort became particularly evident during these adult-oriented events. Despite his talent and ambition, the young artist found himself caught between his desire to succeed in the music industry and his unease with the lifestyle being pushed upon him. Accounts describe numerous instances where Usher attempted to distance himself from the party scene, preferring to focus on his craft rather than engage in the hedonistic activities that characterized Diddy's world. These tensions sometimes escalated into physical altercations, with Usher reportedly fighting back against attempts to draw him into situations he wasn't ready for. The psychological impact of these experiences manifested in various ways throughout Usher's adolescence. He has spoken about developing sleep disorders that persist to this day, attributing them to the stress and confusion of navigating such an adult environment at such a young age. The constant exposure to behavior and situations beyond his comprehension left lasting marks on his development, influencing both his personal relationships and professional decisions in the years that followed. This period of intense exposure and pressure would later inform Usher's approach to mentoring.
Now, dude, he look like this nigga passing off herpes and shit. He look like that. It look like this nigga would come up and gonna be like, hey, bitch.
Other young artists, particularly when it came to Justin Bieber's rise to fame. The allegations surrounding Diddy's influence on Usher's life extend far beyond mere exposure to adult activities, delving into deeply disturbing.
Oh, yo, yeah, that is another thing. He did say he did introduce Justin Bieber to Puffy. And that's what got Puffy and Justin Bieber together. He did say that shit. But this video is done by AI, motherfucker. But he did sit there and say that what Usher himself said, that he brought Justin Bieber to Puffy.
Territory. Sources close to the investigation have revealed that Diddy allegedly engaged in systematic grooming behavior with Usher, manipulating the young artist's vulnerabilities and ambitions to maintain control over his career trajectory. This alleged pattern of behavior included orchestrating situations where Usher was present during increasingly explicit sexual encounters and drug-fueled parties, gradually desensitizing him to the extreme lifestyle. Particularly concerning are reports of Diddy arranging for Usher to witness and participate in what were termed freak-off parties, elaborate sexual performances involving multiple participants and extensive drug use. These allegations gain additional weight when considering Usher's subsequent behavior and choices in his personal life. The infamous herpes lawsuit from 2018, where Usher was accused of transmitting the virus to multiple partners, takes on new significance in light of claims that Diddy himself may have been responsible for introducing Usher to the disease.
Okay, so they saying Diddy's responsible for giving Usher herpes. I could probably believe that. I don't know. I could probably believe that though.
Records obtained during the legal proceedings revealed that Usher had sought treatment for unusual symptoms including a greenish discharge, shortly after his time living with Diddy. While official medical documentation states he was eventually cleared of any sexually transmitted infections, the timing and nature of these health issues raise serious questions about what exactly transpired during his formative years under Diddy's influence. Perhaps most alarming are the accounts from individuals who claim to have witnessed Diddy's direct involvement in compromising situations involving Usher. Orlando Brown, a former child actor, has come forward with allegations of having sexual encounters with Usher during this period, suggesting these interactions were encouraged or arranged by Diddy. Video footage purportedly showing Usher at one of these freak-off parties has emerged, depicting him visibly uncomfortable while surrounded by sex workers and illicit substances. Witnesses report overhearing Diddy explicitly stating his intentions to engage sexually with Usher, further supporting claims of predatory behavior. The psychological manipulation allegedly employed by Diddy extended beyond just sexual matters. Former associates describe a calculated approach where Diddy would alternate between offering career opportunities and threatening to withhold support. effectively creating a dependency cycle that kept Usher bound to him professionally and personally. This dynamic reportedly influenced many of Usher's major career decisions, including his approach to signing and managing new talent. The most notable example being his handling of Justin Bieber's early career, which some insiders view as a reflection of the same grooming tactics allegedly used on Usher himself. These allegations paint.
Now, see, that was the same thing I just sit there and said, that he basically brought Justin Bieber to Puffy. They basically just sit there and said the same shit I just sit there and said. The same shit.
Paint a picture of a sophisticated operation where Diddy allegedly maintained control over rising stars through a combination of career advancement, psychological manipulation, and exposure to increasingly extreme behaviors. The pattern suggests a deliberate effort to create an environment where young artists felt they had no choice but to comply with Diddy's demands in exchange for continued success in the music industry. As these claims come to light, they provide crucial context for understanding both Usher's testimony and the broader implications of Diddy's alleged criminal enterprise. The emergence of video evidence documenting Diddy's alleged misconduct has proven to be a pivotal development in the case, providing concrete support for many of the testimonies and allegations surrounding his behavior. Among the most damning pieces of footage is a recording from one of Diddy's notorious freak-off parties, where Usher can be clearly seen in an obviously distressed state, surrounded by sex workers and various controlled substances. The video captures several crucial moments, including Diddy's explicit statements about his intentions to engage sexually with Usher, despite the younger artist's visible discomfort. This footage directly contradicts previous claims by Diddy's legal team that these gatherings were consensual and purely recreational events among adults. Equally significant is the collection of surveillance tapes recovered from Diddy's properties during the federal raids. These recordings reveal patterns of behavior that align with victim testimonies, showing repeated instances of young artists being brought to Diddy's residences and subsequently isolated in rooms stocked with drugs and alcohol. The footage includes timestamps and audio that corroborate allegations of coercion and forced participation in sexual activities. Particularly noteworthy are sequences showing Diddy interacting with underage individuals, including conversations where he discusses their career prospects while simultaneously arranging for them to meet with adult performers and escorts. Perhaps most compelling are the recovered iCloud backups and electronic device data that paint a comprehensive picture of Diddy's alleged operations. These digital records include detailed spreadsheets tracking the movements and availability of various participants in his parties, along with coded language referencing specific acts and services.
So basically, then they're trying to say Puffy kept tabs on every damn body. This motherfucker's a trip. Yo, this nigga kept tabs on everybody? You mean every damn body? God damn, man. I thought I was on some shit.
Text messages and emails recovered from these devices show clear evidence of advanced planning for these events, including arrangements for private jets to transport participants and instructions for staff regarding room preparations. The digital trail also reveals financial transactions that appear to connect directly to the alleged prostitution ring, including payments to escorts and service providers. Medical records obtained through legal channels have added another layer of verification to the allegations. Documentation from hospitals and clinics shows a pattern of emergency visits by young artists connected to Diddy's circle, with injuries consistent with forced sexual activity. These records often coincide with dates of known parties at Diddy's properties, providing a timeline that supports victim testimonies. Additionally, prescription records indicate patterns of substance abuse treatment following periods when victims claim they were forcibly introduced to drugs during these events. The prosecution has also secured security footage from hotels where Diddy allegedly conducted similar operations, including the infamous New York City hotel room mentioned in charging documents. These recordings show Diddy escorting young artists into rooms that had been pre-stocked with drugs and sex toys, often returning hours later with different individuals. The consistency of these patterns across multiple locations and time periods strengthens the government's argument that these were not isolated incidents but part of a systematic operation. Perhaps most damaging to Diddy's defense is the discovery of personal videos he allegedly recorded during these events. These recordings, recovered from secure servers and backup.
Look at this nigga over here trying to look like a nun. Look at this motherfucker. Hold up. Hold up. Damn. Did I go too far? Yeah, I went too far. Yeah, damn, I fucked up. But yo, This nigga's over here trying to move like a nun.
Prosecutors believe will be difficult to refute in court. The cumulative effect of this evidentiary package has significantly strengthened the prosecution's case, providing multiple layers of corroboration for victim testimonies and challenging the credibility of Diddy's denials. Each piece of evidence, from video footage to digital records, builds upon the others to create a detailed picture of alleged criminal activity spanning years and involving numerous victims. As the trial approaches, these materials are expected to play a crucial role in establishing the prosecution's narrative and countering any attempts by the defense to characterize these allegations as isolated incidents or misunderstandings. The gravity of the charges against Diddy extends far beyond the immediate allegations, encompassing a complex web of criminal activities that prosecutors argue constitute a sophisticated racketeering enterprise. At the
Yo, so basically, they're trying to sit there and say that this cat was into a whole bunch of other shit too. Probably like, though, they said racketeering, which means he was like, though, other than like those shipping people and all that other shit, he was shipping drugs and all that other shit too. Oh shit. Go ahead, Paul.
heart of these charges lies the accusation that Diddy operated an organized system of exploitation, leveraging his position in the music industry to recruit and control vulnerable individuals. The racketeering conspiracy charge specifically alleges that Diddy established and maintained a network of facilitators, including personal assistants, security personnel, and industry professionals, who helped orchestrate and conceal his alleged criminal operations. Prosecutors have identified patterns of behavior stretching back decades, suggesting this was not a series of isolated incidents but rather a carefully constructed enterprise designed to exploit young artists and other vulnerable individuals for personal and financial gain. The sex trafficking charges against Diddy represent perhaps the most severe aspect of the indictment. These allegations detail a systematic process of recruitment, transportation, and exploitation of victims across state lines. According to court documents, Diddy allegedly used his music empire as a front to identify and target aspiring artists, promising them career advancement while simultaneously trapping them in situations of sexual servitude. The indictment outlines specific instances where victims were allegedly transported to various locations, including Diddy's multiple properties and luxury hotel suites, under the pretense of business meetings or recording sessions, only to find themselves coerced into participating in sexual activities. Prosecutors argue that these actions meet the legal definition of sex trafficking, emphasizing the use of force, fraud, and coercion to compel victims' compliance. Equally disturbing are the prostitution-related charges, which allege that Diddy maintained a network of sex workers and escorts who were regularly brought to his properties and events. The prosecution contends that these arrangements went beyond personal indulgence, instead forming part of a larger scheme to exert control over participants in the music industry. Evidence suggests that attendance at these events and participation in associated activities became unofficial prerequisites for career advancement within Diddy's orbit. The indictment details numerous instances where artists and industry professionals claim they were pressured to engage in sexual activities with Diddy or others in his circle as a condition for receiving professional opportunities or maintaining their status within his organization. Supporting these primary charges are numerous ancillary allegations that paint a picture of institutionalized exploitation. Prosecutors have uncovered evidence suggesting Diddy used his influence to manipulate law enforcement and judicial systems, allegedly securing favorable treatment for himself and his associates, while simultaneously intimidating or silencing potential witnesses. The indictment references multiple instances where victims claim they were threatened with career repercussions or physical harm if they spoke out about their experiences. Financial records obtained during the investigation allegedly show patterns of payments to individuals involved in facilitating these activities, further supporting the prosecution's argument that this was an organized criminal enterprise, rather than a series of individual misdeeds. The scope of these charges has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, raising fundamental questions about power dynamics and accountability within the music business. Legal experts note that the combination of racketeering, sex trafficking, and prostitution charges represents an unprecedented level of criminal allegations against a figure of Diddy's stature in the industry. The prosecution's strategy appears focused on demonstrating how these various charges interconnect, arguing that each element of the alleged criminal enterprise supported and reinforced the others. This comprehensive approach aims to establish beyond doubt that Diddy's actions constituted not just individual crimes but a sustained pattern of criminal behavior designed to maintain control over his domain and exploit those within it. As the legal proceedings progress, the prosecution continues to build its case through witness testimonies, documentary evidence, and expert analysis. The cumulative effect of these charges, if proven, could result in severe penalties that would effectively end Diddy's career and serve as a landmark case in holding powerful figures accountable for systemic abuse within the entertainment industry. The outcome of this trial may well set new precedents for how similar cases are handled in the future, potentially reshaping the landscape of accountability in the music business. The defense strategy employed by Diddy's legal team has taken a multi-pronged approach, focusing heavily on challenging the admissibility of evidence, while simultaneously attempting to cast doubt on the credibility of key witnesses. Central to their argument is the claim that search warrants used during the raids on Diddy's properties were obtained through misleading information, with lawyers alleging that investigators presented a grossly distorted picture of reality to secure judicial approval. They contend that salacious details from unnamed sources were included without proper verification, while exculpatory information was deliberately omitted. This line.
Okay. But Puffy had well knowledge of who the fuck was at these parties, or who the hell was doing whatever the hell they was doing in whatever group they was doing it in. So this motherfucker had names of every damn body. He had politicians. He even had the Prince. The Prince of motherfucker, I think it was like what, England or some shit. Yo, look, I ain't that good on that type of history. But I think like the Prince of, like Prince Charles or something. The fucking Prince of one of them damn princes. And then he had motherfucking politicians, he had cops in there, he had motherfucking damn near every important motherfucker. He even had T.D. Jakes in that motherfucker. And that nigga preached about God and he had a Diddy party. Nigga, they had Beyonce and the whole Beehive, they was there. And I'm telling you, man, it was crazy.
Line of defense aims to undermine the foundation of the prosecution's case by questioning the legitimacy of how crucial evidence was gathered. Regarding the specific charges, Diddy's attorneys have mounted a vigorous defense against the sex trafficking allegations by arguing that all encounters were consensual and that participants were willing contributors to what they characterize as adult entertainment gatherings. They've pointed to financial records showing payments to participants as evidence of legitimate business transactions rather than coercion. In particular, they've emphasized the case of Cassie Ventura, arguing that she was a voluntary participant in the so-called freak-offs rather than a victim of coercion as alleged.
Man, you beat the shit out of Cassie, dog. I'm not nah. You beat her ass like you stole something. Nigga, I'm telling you, but you beat her ass. Nigga, yo, hold on, okay. Her ass got whooped like motherfucking homeboy got whooped on Menace II Society. You know how cute motherfucker beat the shit out of homeboy for homegirl Menace II Society? Yeah, that's how Cassie's ass got whooped in that motherfucking hallway.
By prosecutors. The defense has submitted character witnesses and documented communications that they claim demonstrate mutual agreement and enthusiasm for these events. However, the situation has grown increasingly complicated with the departure of Anthony Rico, one of New York's most respected attorneys, from Diddy's legal team. Rico's sudden exit, citing irreconcilable differences, has raised speculation about the strength of the evidence against Diddy. Industry insiders suggest that Rico's decision may be related to newly discovered materials that proved too damaging for him to continue representing the music mogul. This development follows the dramatic decision by Grubman Shire Meisels & Sachs, Diddy's longtime law firm, to sever ties with him, reportedly under pressure from high-profile clients like Lady Gaga. The defense has also attempted to introduce racial bias as a mitigating factor, arguing that Diddy's success as a black man in the entertainment industry has made him a target for prosecution. They've filed motions suggesting that similar behavior by white executives has gone unpunished, though legal experts note this strategy faces significant challenges given the diverse backgrounds of alleged victims. Additionally, the defense has sought to delay proceedings by filing numerous procedural motions, including requests for additional time to review evidence and appeals regarding jury selection processes. Despite these efforts, cracks have begun to show in Diddy's defensive wall. The departure of key legal figures and the firm's withdrawal have left him with a reduced team of 5 attorneys, led by Mark Agnifilo. Sources close to the case suggest that internal disagreements have emerged about how aggressively to challenge certain pieces of evidence, particularly the video footage and digital records that appear to directly contradict Diddy's public statements. The defense has also struggled to counter the cumulative weight of testimonial evidence from multiple victims spanning different eras of Diddy's career, with each account reinforcing similar patterns of alleged behavior. Perhaps most concerning for Diddy's defense is the growing number of witnesses who have agreed to cooperate with prosecutors, including
That nigga got the whole half of New York testifying against this motherfucker. Let's keep it all the way real and 100. This nigga got the whole half of New York saying that they want Diddy's ass right here, right now. They want this motherfucker, and they gonna get him. They gonna get him. I keep trying to tell y'all this shit, man. Excuse me. But Diddy's ass is fucked over. That game ain't go. Sorry, buddy. You fucked up, Diddy. Your game is over, my nigga. Your game is over.
Several former associates who were previously considered loyal to him. These developments have forced his remaining legal team to shift their focus toward damage control, attempting to negotiate plea deals or immunity agreements for lesser charges while preparing for the possibility of a full trial. The complexity of managing multiple charges across different jurisdictions has further complicated their strategy, leading to what some observers describe as a defensive posture that appears increasingly reactive rather than proactive. As the trial date approaches, Diddy's defense finds itself in the challenging position of having to simultaneously address mounting evidence, manage public perception, and prepare for potentially devastating testimony from high-profile witnesses like Usher. The departure of key legal figures, and the erosion of institutional support from long-time allies in the legal community have left the defense scrambling to maintain a coherent strategy while facing what appears to be an increasingly overwhelming case presented by the prosecution. The prospect of Usher's testimony looms large over the impending trial, carrying the potential to fundamentally alter the course of legal proceedings against Diddy. As someone who has maintained a complex relationship with the music mogul spanning over 3 decades, Usher's insider perspective offers unique insights into Diddy's alleged operations and behavioral patterns. Prosecutors view his testimony as potentially crucial in establishing patterns of conduct and demonstrating the systematic nature of the alleged crimes. Having witnessed firsthand the evolution of Diddy's alleged criminal enterprise from its early stages, Usher's account could provide the chronological framework needed to connect disparate elements of the prosecution's case. Legal analysts suggest that Usher's testimony might carry particular weight due to his established credibility and public standing. Unlike other witnesses who may be perceived as having direct financial or personal stakes in the outcome, Usher's successful career and independent achievements lend his observations additional authority. His detailed knowledge of Diddy's operations during critical periods, including the alleged grooming practices and the mechanics of the freak-off parties, could help prosecutors overcome defense arguments that these were isolated incidents or consensual adult gatherings.
Hold up. I just thought about this. Now, just saying, if Usher do testify, which means he's admitting that he was a part of this shit, means he was admitting that he was also with this motherfucker, which means he'll get locked up also. So sit here and think about that for a second. That means if he get out there and say that, that means he's admitting that he was a part of this shit. Cause as if you look at the real, he's the one that brought motherfucking Bieber to motherfucking Diddy. And then he went along doing the same practices that was taught amongst him, were basically that Diddy programmed into him. So yeah, I don't think he's gonna testify.
Moreover, Usher's own experiences with similar allegations, particularly the herpes lawsuits, might enable him to speak authoritatively about the transmission of diseases within Diddy's circle, a crucial element in several charges. The timing of Usher's testimony could prove strategically significant for the prosecution's narrative. By placing his account near the conclusion of their case presentation, they could effectively use it to tie together various threads of evidence and witness testimonies. This approach would allow Usher to respond directly to defense arguments and potentially rebut any attempts to minimize the severity or systematic nature of the alleged crimes. His testimony might also help explain the psychological mechanisms allegedly employed by Diddy to maintain control over his victims, drawing from his own experiences of being manipulated at a young age. However, Usher's appearance on the witness stand carries inherent risks for both sides.
Defense attorneys are likely to focus on his own legal troubles and controversial past, attempting to portray him as compromised or unreliable. They may highlight inconsistencies between his public statements and private actions, particularly regarding his handling of young artists like Justin Bieber.
Facts. Just like I just said. I'm trying to tell you, man. I don't think this nigga gonna testify. I don't. Because that's fucking him also. Because think about it though. If he do get up there and testify, and he already have the knowledge of everything that Diddy do, which means they're gonna automatically say that he was a part of that shit. That he was also not only a victim, but a person applying to a victim. So a person applying to another person, making them the victim. Man, look, I'm trying to tell you, dog. Usher is just as motherfucking guilty as Diddy is. If you sit here and look at the real. Usher, Jay-Z, all them niggas is just as guilty as Diddy is.
Defense could also attempt to frame Usher's testimony as motivated by personal grievances or career considerations, especially given the reported strain in their relationship in recent years. Yet these very tensions might actually strengthen the prosecution's case, suggesting that Usher's willingness to testify despite potential personal consequences speaks to the seriousness of his allegations. The potential impact extends beyond just the immediate legal ramifications. Usher's testimony could trigger a domino effect among other witnesses who might have been hesitant to come forward, particularly those who shared similar experiences during their time in Diddy's orbit. His position as a respected figure in the music industry might encourage others to break their silence, potentially expanding the scope of allegations against Diddy. Furthermore, his detailed knowledge of industry practices and power dynamics could help contextualize the alleged crimes within the broader culture of exploitation in the entertainment business, making it more difficult for the defense to characterize these as isolated incidents or personal misunderstandings. Perhaps most significantly, Usher's testimony might serve as a bridge between generations of alleged victims, connecting patterns of behavior observed decades ago with contemporary accusations. His unique vantage point as both a witness to and participant in Diddy's world could provide jurors with a comprehensive understanding of how the alleged criminal enterprise evolved and adapted over time. This is
evolved and adapted over time. The only damn thing he did was just sit here and tell this motherfucker, I got your career in the palm of my goddamn hands. And if you sit here and snitch or bust a move in any type of shape, form, or fashion, your ass is done. I mean, your game is over. That's all he sit there and said.
Historical perspective could prove invaluable in establishing the racketeering elements of the charges, demonstrating continuity and intentionality in Diddy's alleged actions across different eras of his career. The legal proceedings against Diddy have triggered a seismic shift within the music industry, exposing a culture of exploitation that many insiders have long suspected but few dared to acknowledge publicly. As details of the case emerge, they reveal a pattern of behavior that extends far beyond any single individual, pointing to systemic issues deeply embedded in the power structures of the entertainment business. The industry's initial reaction to these allegations has been telling, a mixture of shock, denial and quiet acknowledgement that such practices have existed for decades. Such
practices has been going on for way longer than motherfuckers what we even know about. It's probably motherfucking way. This shit probably going on way before Puffy. Real talk.
High-profile artists and executives have begun speaking out, though often anonymously, about their
Well, they did say this shit has been going on before Puffy, but you know what I mean? But Puffy just exercised it and made it bigger.
own experiences with similar situations, suggesting that Diddy's alleged activities may represent just one manifestation of a broader problem.
The case has prompted a reckoning within record labels and management companies, many of which are now conducting internal reviews of their practices and protocols. Major agencies have started implementing stricter guidelines for artist-manager relationships, particularly concerning young talent. Industry veterans report a noticeable shift in how mentors and protégés interact, with increased emphasis on maintaining professional boundaries and documenting all business-related communications. This change in atmosphere reflects growing awareness that the traditional music industry family model can too easily mask inappropriate behavior and exploitation. Particularly significant is the response from younger artists and emerging talent, who are increasingly vocal about their rights and expectations for safe working environments. Social media platforms have become venues for sharing experiences and demanding accountability, creating pressure on established industry figures to demonstrate transparency and ethical behavior. This generational shift in attitudes has led to the formation of artist advocacy groups and support networks, providing resources and guidance for those navigating the complex power dynamics of the music business. Notably, several prominent artists have publicly stated they would no longer work with individuals or companies connected to exploitative practices, signaling a potential transformation in how success is defined and achieved within the industry. The case has also sparked discussions about the role of legal and financial institutions in enabling such behavior. Banks and financial service providers that handle entertainment industry accounts are reportedly reviewing their policies regarding suspicious transactions and client relationships. Insurance companies are reassessing risk profiles for industry events and gatherings, while hospitality providers are implementing new protocols for handling bookings and reservations from entertainment figures. These changes reflect a broader recognition that combating exploitation requires coordinated action across multiple sectors that support and enable the music industry's operations. Perhaps most importantly, the proceedings have initiated conversations about power dynamics and accountability in creative industries. Educational institutions training future music professionals are incorporating new modules on ethics and professional conduct, while industry conferences now feature panels discussing safe working environments and appropriate mentorship practices. The case has become a catalyst for redefining what constitutes acceptable behavior in the pursuit of artistic success, with many recognizing that true creativity cannot flourish in environments marked by fear and coercion. As these discussions continue, they promise to reshape not just individual careers but the fundamental structure of how the music industry operates and evolves. The unfolding legal drama surrounding Diddy has captured global attention, transforming from a celebrity scandal into a watershed moment for the entertainment industry. As the trial date approaches, the convergence of mounting evidence, high-profile testimony, and institutional reckoning creates a perfect storm that could fundamentally alter how power and accountability are understood in creative industries. The implications extend far beyond any single verdict, potentially setting new standards for how allegations of systemic abuse are addressed and how protective measures are implemented to safeguard vulnerable talent. With Usher's testimony poised to illuminate decades of alleged misconduct and a generation of artists demanding change, this case represents more than just a legal proceeding. It embodies a crucial turning point in the evolution of industry ethics and accountability. The coming months will likely determine whether this moment becomes a genuine catalyst for lasting reform or merely another chapter in Hollywood's long history of scandal and redemption. As the music industry grapples with these revelations, the outcome of this trial may well establish precedent for how similar cases are handled in the future, potentially reshaping the landscape of power dynamics and professional conduct across all entertainment sectors. The eyes of the world remain fixed on this unfolding drama.
All right, y'all. Eyes of the world stay fixed on this unfolding drama. But anyways, smush it off, folks. Shit. Anyways, that's how it be, man. Motherfuckers be tripping, man. Straight up. Soldier Boy, we'll get to you later. But Diddy, you need to get your shit right, man. Cause I know your ass is on one right now. Get on up out of here. Rude dog.